Good morning, Commanders. We are up and at 'em, and we are going after the Wicker Colossus here at the command table. I am Mathramar, and we are going to be showing you our SR15 and SR11 builds, and we're going to be explaining why certain Power Stones work at different SR levels. So we'll get right at that, but first, if you would be so kind as to like, subscribe, and if you want notifications when I drop new videos, hit that notification bell. And if you want to leave a comment, please feel free to leave those below. So let's go ahead and show you what I've been working with. Alright, this is Wicker, and here are my unit levels for my Warhounds with the Berserk, and the other Power Stone isn't really necessary. Not necessary. You could put whatever you want in there except for block. And I'll explain why here in a second. We have our Wraiths, all of which have corrupted damage 4. And I think there's one corrupted damage 3 on that level 11. And then our Plaguebearers have either corrupted damage or regular damage. So that is what we're doing there. We also have our Primal Warhorn, which I got up to rank 4. Yay me. We also have Ring of Unity, which we discovered from last time around that we had wounded, that it edged out the Amulet of the Panther Queen. Again, there may be other factors that might affect that if you're going to do that, depending on what your unit levels are. But if you've got pretty standard unit levels between your Chaos and your Nature, then the Ring of Unity is going to be your best choice. And we've put back in the Spear of Cataclysm just to make sure we get that extra damage, because I think I still need to get at least 1 or 2 hits to get the heart without Elixirs. So just thought I'd show you what I was working with there. So let's pop over and see how we did. Okay, this was my first attempt, and I had the time elixir on just because I like to make sure I'm going to get the heart with the units and power stones that I've got. So once I did this first attempt, I discovered that I was able to get him down in a pretty decent amount of time. Let's just skip ahead because this takes forever. Okay, notice that there's the heart right there. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so I was able to get it before that 10-second mark, which is the crucial thing. So since I'm using the time elixir, I had 40 seconds, but I was able to do it in under 30, which meant that it was likely that I didn't necessarily need it. So after that, I just dropped it, and I was able to get it done each and every time. We'll just skip ahead here. Boom. See, I got better meteor strikes these next couple of rounds, so I had 5 seconds left that time. Okay. And then the next 2 are pretty well rinse, lather, repeat. This one I got the least amount of damage on. So again, no elixirs. If you're trying to do a comparable SR level with either less than adequate power stones or slightly lower level units or artifacts, then you may need to throw in that time elixir or the power elixir in addition to the time elixir. What I'll show you here in a second is my SR11 attempts, where we're going to sort that out. Oh, the other thing to note before we move on from our SR15 is the wounded modifier right here. So let's take a peek at that. 95% of max health. That puts you below the threshold that you need to have your Berserk trigger. So below 50% health. So notice that. Okay, so now I did have block on these 2 Warhounds, and I removed it for that reason, because the initial hit, we learned this from the last raid, the initial hit from the wounded modifier is what the block soaks. So if you don't get that wounded modifier, you might as well not even have Berserk on your Warhounds or anything else for that matter. Okay, so let's move on to the SR11 attempts. Now this is where we discover the difference between time and power. So here you'll notice that, we'll go through I went through and showed you all my unit levels and power stones. So I had damage 4, corrupted damage 4 on the Warhounds, corrupted damage 3 on the Plaguebearers, and damage 3 and 4 on the Wraiths. And you'll notice not a single Berserk on anything. And I didn't show the wounded modifier. Well, anyway, I remember what it is. The wounded modifier for SR11 is 47.5%. So that takes you to 52.5%, which is not below 50. So if you're looking to get a buff from Berserk on all your units, you're not going to get it on SR11 unless you're trying to do some crazy stunt with draining spirits, which is just not worth it, in my opinion. So I put corrupted damage instead of Berserk on everything. And you'll see that I was able to get it with the time elixir just before time ran out. So I wanted to do a little experiment. But again, just to reiterate, Berserk does not do you any good on SR11 and below. So if you're SR12 or higher, which I think the next step up for SR12, that buff goes up, that would put you below 50%. Okay, so I tried using power instead of time. I figured, okay, 25% damage increase, that should be about the same. Now again, this is not scientific. I do have Spear of Cataclysm on, so that's going to affect the overall numbers. But you'll notice that it gets really dicey towards the end here. We've 15 seconds left, so we've halfway, and we just barely hit the halfway mark. But I've got to get some good procs on my Spear of Cataclysm. Okay, we hit something there, which barely got me there. 3 seconds to go. Whereas with the time elixir, I had a much better go of things. So after that, I switched back to time for these last 2 attempts. We'll just run one of those while we're chatting. But the reason that I prefer time over power is because of the Spear of Cataclysm. Not to mention the time that it takes to run to the boss. Of your 30 seconds, your base 30 seconds, that time is spent running to the boss. That last 10 seconds with time, all of your units are damaging during that entire 10 seconds. So if you use the power elixir, you're not getting the full 30 seconds. If you use the time elixir, you're getting the full 10 seconds, and you're getting spear chances of hitting just like that and knocking out the health that you need. So I think time is superior to power if you're only going to, if it requires 1 elixir to get the job done, time is preferable to power, in my opinion. So there you have it. Thank you for watching. Just to sum up, don't use block if you're using Berserk on SR12 and above. Use corrupted damage on SR11 and below. Do like and subscribe, leave some comments, and check out thecommandtable.com where we have tutorials, raid strats, and soon we will have merch and comics. Thanks for watching. We'll have some more content for you soon.